a woman photographer. We made her a Jewish immigrant who is hired by an upper class New York Gramercy Park WASP because he wants to photograph. He wants somebody who speaks Yiddish who will allow him to photograph immigrants on the Lower East Side.
There are photographs of the 19th century that all you have to do is look at the photographs and you know the pictures they took.
Yeah, well, Jacob Riis, we used the idea of Jacob Riis, although he was not a Tony upper crust Protestant living on Gramercy Park. But we used that, and she meets a cop named Tonman who thinks he's Irish, and she's a Jewish immigrant. And so it's more of the love story again in the house on Mulberry Street. The people come together and
uncovering their past.
Yes, and Marty did some research, as always, and you found a fighter, an ex-fighter who ran a stable.
Name was West.
Jack West.
Jack West drove a handsome cab. He was a contender, and he had a daughter. Any guesses? His daughter's name? Mae West.
Mae West's father, he said, look at this. He was a fighter. He has this, he had a house on, facing Washington Square Park, one of those big houses, with a stable in the background, and he became a private eye, an investigator in his later career. And so we introduce him as, in the house on Mulberry Street, as a handsome driver who's also a dabbling in investigations. In The Organ Grinder, he is a private eye. And
he has a young apprentice named Jack Meyers, my father. I put him in the book.
So he appears in the house on Mulberry Street, and they actually are involved in the crime. The Organ Grinder we do a prologue in the because again research, and we found at that period of time, and you'll see it in the prologue, that a group of upper crust white men got together at the Waldorf Astoria, the old one, to discuss a big problem that they were having. And that was finding a place for their automobiles, because the stables wouldn't let them in. And they would not let them drive their automobiles in Central Park because the horses were in Central Park.
And the horses got frightened.
And yes, so it was a big problem for these guys, and they decided to organize. And someone said, well, should we call ourselves the Automobile Club of New York? And they said, no, we'll call ourselves the Automobile Club of America. And that's in our prologue, and that's a true story. That's and we